Latest addition to RV Tech Pro. This trailer. Bought a nice enclosed trailer to pull with my Hummer for when my truck is down. I did opt to get the spare tire, you know. It's black like my cars and my truck. It is a Manley trailer. 16 center floors and walls. 2-inch banding. Extended tongue. So it's easier not to jackknife it. Battery on the front has lighting inside, LED lighting on the outside. This is a little over $7,000 is what this costs. I got it from a local dealer. I was gonna buy one that was far away for less money, but after watching a bunch of YouTube videos about the things to look for, like the one-piece roof and the 3/4 floors, you know, thicker walls and all of that stuff that this trailer had that some of the other ones didn't, that they offered and that I was looking at, I just chose to, and obviously tandem axle, I chose to spend a little more money to get something with a little heavier wood, a little more rigid. You can see floor, 16 center on the floor. I would have liked to have the ceiling space a little tighter. It would have been nicer if it had tighter spacing in that. I am going to make several modifications to this to make it work for me. It's like 6'6" on the interior height. It has a door catch, so see how far it goes because the camera system has side cameras. I made good progress on the trailer, guys. Let's see what we got done so far. So I got into the trailer wiring. It's just a panel right here. I really like the way they did it. It's easy to get to the stuff. Most of the wiring is running through the top, through that angle, and they left the cutout. So like if I wanted to run wires, it'll be easy for me to get from the front to the back. And let me show you this well, I'll go over what you can see right now. So I went to Harbor Freight and I got a lot of E-Track stuff. Well, not a lot. I got several pieces. This is what it is. You got the horizontal track and you have the vertical tracks. So after I started laying this out in my mind, I was like, man, the vertical track would have been, you know, more useful. There's different attachments that you can get for these E-Tracks, and they just clip in and lock. So the top comes out to make it bigger so you can get the bottom in, and then it locks and it can't come out, and that gives you a tie down point. Now my trailer came with 6 D-rings already, but that's more so for like strapping down your motorcycle or ATVs, stuff like that. I'm customizing this for me, for what I'm using it, which I believe anybody who buys one of these trailers, it's a unique thing to where, like, yeah, you spend $7,000 on something and then you immediately start modifying it. Or if it was a car, voiding the warranty. Immediately void the warranty. So, so yeah. So I'm gonna get another vertical and put along here. And we have the horizontal mounts. And I used to see these in U-Haul trucks. I never knew what they were though, because I don't know anything about trailers because I never had one. So I don't know anything about them. But I rent a lot of U-Haul trucks and they had a system like this on all the U-Haul trucks. So there's that. Bought a couple more attachments. So these are the adjustable bungee straps. And as you can see, I'm using them to, even though I have the hangers, which are those there, for the ladders, I'm gonna put another set here for my other ladder. And then to keep it from making too much noise and moving around, I just got it bungee strapped to my E-Track system. So that's, I guess that'll be the third attachment. And then I think this is more so for landscapers, for like holding shovels and stuff like that, that you got standing up to help stabilize those. So I don't really need those. But one thing that I am using are this attachment, which is the wood beam socket. Now this is killer, guys, because I'm gonna have to utilize this weird space. This is where I'm gonna have the shelving. I have the tire hanging right there, but below that, and the tire might move, I can move the tire and put the tire somewhere else. You know, doesn't matter. I can put the tire somewhere else, but I'm gonna have a shelf here. So I'm gonna run a beam of wood there, and then just, you know, fasten a couple of pieces of 2x4s to act as a ledge to hold the other side, and just screw that down to and there's your shelf. Quick and easy. Just cut out a triangular piece of wood to fit, and there's shelf, because tool bags will be going on the shelf. And then on the bottom, I'm gonna build out the electrical. So speaking of the electrical, while I was at Harbor Freight, I bought this wiring kit, which is really for like doing a long wire, 4-pin long wire on a vehicle. But there's a little hack that you can do with this. This is an easy way to start your 12-volt wiring. All the wires are different colors. So here you have 5 different easily identifiable circuits. I'm gonna put my fuse box, my battery, and my converter there. And so now I'm already ready for lighting. You see, wherever I need to stop the line at, or it's probably gonna be daisy chain lighting. So, you know, I'll probably like run something like a drop ceiling and like have puck lights, just 12-volt puck lights going all the way down the center. And then I'll use a circuit for my backup camera, because the little tiny battery that they have, the electrical system on this, the way the power is being daisy chained from all the LED lights, that's not sufficient for the camera. All right, the little progress check, guys. Just doing a little rough build out of this trailer that I recently purchased. And I'm having to make it work so it can work for me, because I'm not just like hauling toys or whatever. So I built the shelf in the corner. I see a lot of people do this, and I utilize the E-Tracks with the wood beam sockets to accomplish that. I want my tool bags right there, so as soon as I come in the door, I can get to my bags. It's not all organized yet because I got electrical. You know, there's a converter charger, there's a battery that I'm gonna use, take my old test battery, which is a small engine battery, lead acid. I'll be using that to power the lights. That's the only thing that's getting powered in here. It's just 12-volt system, so it's just lights, and my camera, lights and cameras. That's all that's really been powered by that battery. What else do we have? You can kind of see, I moved this table inside to work in here because the rain be coming soon, and just easier. But I loaded all the toolboxes out of the truck, and they're in here. So like, those are all my tool bags from the truck, and you can see all of my boxes from the truck. This is not the final layout. After I'm done with doing this, these 2 boxes will be against the door. After I'm finished building this out, the door won't open anymore. unless I have to like load lumber in the center section, which is quite large with the way I have it. But yeah, it's just as me using it, the door will never come open. I will only be using this door. So in light of that fact, I am now preparing to run a powered fan. So putting a fan up here, and that uses a 14 by 14 opening. So I've made that. I'm going to just kind of clamp that up there, and then I'll build the rest out with 2x4s or 2x2s. It's just holding the fan, but I'm still gonna support it all the way, so later on if I want to put an air conditioner, I can. So yeah, the shelf is working exactly how I need to. I'll have bags along the perimeter of this triangle, and then as I'm working, this will be like my workspace. All the tools that I'm using is just laid out here. That's all it's for. All right, and then when I'm done at the end of the day, I can just put all my stuff up. At the end of each job, I can kind of load it back in the bags. But even if I pretty much load all my stuff back in the bags when I'm done. I keep a clean workspace, and then this is basically taking the place of my tailgate, because I normally would work like this off of my tailgate. So, and then this wouldn't be here, so that'd be outside. So I would have like a whole lot of room in here, guys. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna go find my my clamps so I can clamp that in place, drill me some pilot holes, and attach that to this beam, and then build it out the rest of the way with the support. Cut my hole in the ceiling, and I do have a I have a nibbler, a Milwaukee M12 nibbler for the sheet metal. You know, I can. It's for me. It's easy to do all of this, and it's pretty fun and it's relaxing. So let me continue on. All right, I used the M12 nibbler to cut the sheet metal. I'm gonna let you guys see the roof. One-piece roof. It does have fasteners up here on the banding, so I'll probably it looks pretty good. It looks like they're using Sikaflex. I'll keep a close eye on that. I'll be going over that again. But yep, got the fan up top. Now it's time to screw it down. All right, so this is what I ended up with, guys. Some stuff might move around, especially as I use it. But this is pretty good layout. I have a lot of straps securing stuff so it can't move, you know, shift around. That's all it's for. You know, it doesn't have a super tight. This one's kind of tight, but they don't have to be. It's not a crazy amount of tension that's on this stuff, but everything is very secure and strapped down on hooks. You got the tire on that hook. You know, I do have to bring some totes in. I still don't have everything. Like some miscellaneous stuff that I used to keep in the side of the truck that will get organized in the totes, and I'll get a tote stack. So some of the stuff will get rearranged. Like I've been working out all these bags and stuff, so stuff is everywhere, but that's kind of what I need. A workspace, a space to store stuff that I go into frequently, like my bags. I got power set up and lights. So I wired in 1, 2, 3. 3 of these lights that I got from Lowe's. And tomorrow I'll start wiring the Hummer because it's not pre-wired for a 7-way. So I had got these Hopkins lights. They don't use much power. That's why I went with these, is because the power consumption is very low. Like the wire gauge is like super small, guys. And like I said, it's just a place to store the tools. I work out of here. This is what I have to work out of for a little while. And for me, it's just temporary. So I made this shelf for all of my kits and stuff that I know I need to go into a lot. hardware, drill bits, you know. And because it's in here, I don't have to worry about closing the tops on these boxes, so I just overfill them and just leave them. That's how I'm gonna roll with it while it's in here. It's easy. And yeah, so it's working out pretty good. Only thing I worry about or think about, not really worried, but it is what it is. I have to deal with whatever I run into. Is this some of the really tight spots where I don't have a whole lot of room to get in and turn around. I can see that I'll be parking on the street a lot, or, you know, parking a short distance away from where I'm working. I'll just have to do some different things so that I can, you know, work with this Hummer and this trailer. So, yeah, pretty easy. Got the fan installed. That's pretty much what I need. I have a space for everything. And it's really easy to get to because I can just walk around and I can really easily get to everything. So, yeah. I will button this video up. Not really doing anything else. That was like the last thing, is to make this little shelf. I just decided to make it out of 2x4s all the way. Short ones in these little anchor dealios. And so I got 4 of those beam things for the E-tracks. I just used a short horizontal, a 1-foot track for the middle section, and just to make sure I put a little peg leg on it. And most of this is scrap wood. You know, 90% of this wood is all just old scrap wood. I literally was going to my burn pile because I hadn't burned it yet and pulling stuff off and putting this stuff together. Like, this triangle piece right here is literally a part of a old slide room floor that I took out because half of it was rotten, and I took the other half and I used it to make the shelf and, you know, stuff like that. That's why it's holes and stuff. You know, this is work stuff, man. This doesn't matter, you know. And I'm not trying to make it pretty or anything like that because, like I said, I want this stuff to be I want to easily be able to take this apart and get this out of here. If I have to use the trailer for something else, my 1025R can fit in here. Yeah. So, yeah, but who knows? I like it. We'll see how it is when I have to drive it and deal with the customers and the works and the job sites. So, I did my electrical separate, guys. I did not tie into the little onboard battery, which is a joke. Anyway, so all the running lights and everything is on a 7-way, and that's separate from all the stuff that I ran. This is like, I don't even know if you can call that a battery, but it's smaller than those little Mighty Max batteries that I have. So, yeah. But what I will be doing is, when I wire this truck, I will, because I have to get a charge line, because it just somebody had just a little 4 flat for wherever they put the little kit at. So I'm gonna change this over and wire it to a 7-way with a 4-way. And when I have to run a wire for the charge line, I have to run a wire for my brake controller. So that's 2 wires I got to run to the front of the vehicle. I'm going to use a really nice gauge, you know, maybe like it'll be a 10 gauge wire for my charge line, coming from the battery. And I will use that charge line. Also, I will branch off to tie into my battery setup so that when I'm not plugged into shore power, because I have shore power, like a 15 amp, like a pop-up, I got it wired to where it has a 15 amp cord. I just pull it on the inside when it's time to roll. And when I'm not plugged in and I'm plugged into the truck, the alternator is charging my battery So after I've, you know, had lights on and used stuff on the inside, you know, I can have the battery being recharged all the time. So, yeah, but that's about it. It's all pretty simple. And if you have any questions, hit me up. RV Tech Pro out.